Sunday the 16th is the fourth day of celebrating Lake Placid's 1980 Winter Olympics. One of the issues with hosting major events like the Olympics or the World Cup is that a lot of the structures that are built are usually abandoned or they are left empty. So there was a referendum in the past to make it so that any structure that is built for the Olympics has a secondary purpose after. There was also two other events that was leading up to the state deciding to build this type of village. There was the Munich massacre of 1972. The IOC now wanted stricter security infrastructure. You then had the war on crime and drugs here in the United States, which was leading to a prison boom and new industry for North Country. There was at least up to 20 state and federal prisons here in the North Country. Representative Robert McEwen was tasked with finding an agency willing to utilize the athlete village after the Olympics. It's when he met with Norman Carlson, director of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, that he struck a deal. That's right, the federal government decided to build the athlete village with the sole purpose of turning it into a federal prison afterward. This federal prison would be located between Saranac Lake and Lake Placid in a hamlet known as Ray Brook. It is the Ray Brook Federal Correctional Institution. Protesting the Olympics is nothing new. With the increase of incarcerations and federal prisons, there was an increase of progressive movements like prison abolition. When news of the Ray Brook Penitentiary became public, moratorium groups and their allies, including locals, started a movement literally called Stop the Olympic Prison. Their lobbying power, civil action, and literal threats to stop construction was widely published and brought international attention. There was also international criticism. What do you mean after 4 years of hard training my athletes go through, you're just going to lock them up in lousy conditions? Which is what came out of a number of the countries like Italy and Switzerland. Some countries went as far as to rent out houses in Lake Placid instead of having their athletes stay in the Olympic Village, which is something that still happens today. You never know who's going to ask for room and board here in Lake Placid. The building project cost about $22 million at the time. It housed 1,900 athletes from around 3 dozen countries. The athletes were fed with up to 6 different cafeterias. There was a number of useful facilities there, including a bank, a post office, fitness center, medical center, chapel. There was up to 5 dormitories with 937 sleeping rooms. There was also entertainment rooms like a movie theater, game center, disco room. The movie theater sat around 350 people. Town Warwick was known to entertain the athletes at one of the centers during the games. The athletes got to take their individual keys home with them after the Winter Olympics. 6 months after the Winter Olympics, the rooms had been rekeyed and 1,000 inmates had replaced the athletes. 45 years later, it is still an active federal correctional facility with 758 inmates and 127 employees. To this day, I still get asked by tourists if they can go visit the athlete village of 1980, which is probably a no, but there are still other things in Ray Brook you can visit, like the Pinecone Ice Cream Parlor or Tail the Pub Barbecue.